Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are doing well. I am here to teach you chapter 1 crop production and management. Let's warm up, identify these tools and write their name. So student, look at these pictures. You have to write the name of these instruments. Let's know about agriculture and crop plants, basic agriculture practices, preparation of soil, agriculture implements, selection of sowing off and fertilizers irrigation, harvesting, protection from weeds, pests, disease, words. So student, these are the topics we are going to discuss in our chapter. All living organisms need food to survive. Food provides them energy. Plants and animals are sources of food. Plants can make their own food themselves. Animals, including humans, cannot make their own food. So where do animals get their food from? They depend on plants directly or indirectly to get their food. In order to provide food for a large population, regular production, proper management and distribution is necessary. Here we have agriculture and crop. The science of raising crops and animals is called agriculture. The word agriculture is derived from Latin word agar, meaning field, and culture, meaning to grow or cultivate. Cultivation of plants or food is called farming. When plants of same kind are cultivated on a large scale at one place, it is called a crop. Crop of paddy means that all the plants grown on a field are that of paddy. You already know that crops are of different types like cereals, vegetables and fruits. These can be classified on the basis of the season in which they grow. India is a vast country. It has always been primarily an agriculture country. The climatic conditions like temperature, humidity and rainfall vary from one region to another. Therefore, all crops do not grow during the same season. Some grow in summer while others grow in winter. Depending on their growing season, crops in India fall into two categories, Rabi crops and Kharif crops. Here we have Rabi crops. Rabi crops are sown in October-November and harvested in March-April. Wheat, gram, pea, mustard and linseed are examples of winter crops. Now we have Kharif crops. Kharif crops are grown during the rainy season in June, July and harvested in September, October. They include paddy, maize, jawar, bajra, groundnut, pulses, soya bean, cotton, etc. Now we have basic agricultural practices. Cultivation of crop involves several activities undertaken by farmers over a period of time. You may find that these activities are similar to those carried out by a gardener or even by when you grow ornamental plants in your house. These activities or tasks are referred to as agriculture practices, which are listed here. Preparation of soil, agriculture and implements, selection and sowing of seeds, application of manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protection from weeds, protection of crop from pests and disease, harvesting, threshing and winnowing, storage of grain. So students, these are some agriculture practices. Do you know? Till 10,000 BC, people were nomadic. They were wandering in groups from place to place in search of food and shelter. They started hunting animals for food. Later, they could cultivate land and produce rice, wheat, and other food crops. Thus, agriculture was born. Look at this picture. We have threshing. Now, students, preparation of soil. The very first step in growing a crop is soil preparation. Soil preparation refers to the processing of soil before sowing the seeds. It includes turning the soil, loosening it and breaking large lumps into fine soil. The process of loosening and turning the soil is called tilling or ploughing. Turning the soil allows the organisms living in soil to come to the top and decompose the dead plants and animals. This allows the nutrients from the dead organisms to be released into the soil. Healthy and deep root enhance the growth of plants. The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily and grow deep into the ground. It also allows better absorption of nutrients by the roots. Thus, the preparation of soil is an important step in growing a crop. So student, अगर हम बात करें soil का preparation जो है वो सबसे important step होता है जब हम किसी crop को grow कराते हैं. Now we have agriculture implements. Before sowing the seeds, it is necessary to break soil clumps to get better yield. This is done with the help of various implements. The main implementation used for ploughing in the field are the plough, hoe and cultivator. So students, ये कुछ instruments हैं जो हम अपने fields में use करते हैं. Here, the first we have plough. This is being used since ancient times for tilling the soil, adding fertilizers to the crop, removing the weeds and turning the soil. This is made of wood and is drawn by a pair of bulls or other animals, horses and camels. It contains a strong triangular iron strip called plug shear, the main part of log of wood, which is called a plug shaft. There is a handle at one end of the shaft. The other end is attached to a beam which is placed on the bull's neck. One pair of the bulls and a man can easily operate the plow. Look at this picture, students. We have the plow. The indigenous wooden plow is increasingly being replaced by iron plows nowadays. Then we have hoe. It is a simple tool which is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. It has a long rod of wood or iron. A strong, broad and bent plate of iron is fixed to one of its ends and work like a blade. It is pulled by animals. Now, cultivator. A cultivator is a plowing tool that has multiple metal blades. It is driven by a tractor. A cultivator makes plowing a field easier and faster. Look at this picture. We have cultivator driven by a tractor. Now, selection and sowing of seeds. Sowing is the process of putting seeds in the soil. Selection of good quality seeds and their proper sowing is essential for getting a better yield of crops. Here, seed quality. Seeds should be of good quality, disease resistant and free of infection. They should be treated with fungicides before sowing. The healthy seeds can be separated from damaged ones by putting them into plenty of water. Seeds should be sown in moist soil at proper time, in proper season and at proper depth. There should be proper spacing between the seeds sown. So student, जब हम सीड्स का सिलेक्शन करते हैं, फर्स्ट ये होता है कि सीड जो है वो अच्छी क्वालिटी का हो. उसमें हम कुछ फंजीसाइड्स यूज करते हैं ताकि वो अच्छे से ग्रो करे, एक अच्छे प्लांट को ग्रो करे. सेकेंडली, हम लोग जो है उसको पानी में भिगो के रख दो ताकि जो अच्छे सीड्स हैं वो हम यूज कर सके और जो कुछ सीड्स उसमें खराब है उनको हम अलग कर सके. सो ये कुछ तरीके होते हैं हम अपने सीड्स की क्वालिटी को चेक करते हैं. हियर वी हैव ट्रांसप्लांटेशन. Most of the crops are grown by sowing the seed directly in the soil, but in some crops like paddy, many vegetables, chilies, tomatoes, etc., the seeds are sown in the nursery before transplanting them to the main field. They grow into tiny plants called seedlings, which are transferred to the main field. This is called transplantation. Transplantation provides better spacing among the plants, promotes better development of root and shoot system, and increased yield of the crop. सो स्टूडेंट, ट्रांसप्लांटेशन क्या है? हमें पता है हमारे कुछ क्रॉप्स हैं जिनका हम डायरेक्टली सीड शोइंग नहीं करते हैं, लाइक पैडी क्रॉप्स हैं, टोमेटोज हैं और भी कुछ वेजिटेबल्स हैं. तो हम क्या करते हैं, पहले उनके छोटे छोटे प्लांट्स जो है, सीडलिंग्स जो है वो हम ग्रो करते हैं नर्सरी में. उसके बाद उनको मेन फील्ड में क्या किया जाता है, उनको वहां पे मेन फील्ड में लगाया जाता है. दैट इज ट्रांसप्लांटेशन. हियर वी हैव एप्लीकेशन ऑफ मैन्योर एंड फर्टिलाइजर्स. The substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants are called manure and fertilizers. So students, जो healthy growth के लिए हम nutrients use करते हैं, plants की soil में add करते हैं, that is manures and fertilizers. Soil supplies mineral nutrients to the crop plants. These nutrients are essential for the growth of plants. In certain areas, farmers grow crop after crop in the same field. The field is never left uncultivated or fallow. Imagine what happens to the nutrients. Continuous cultivation of crops makes the soil poor in nutrients. Therefore, farmers have to add manure to the fields to replenish the soil with nutrients. This process is called manuring. Improper or insufficient manuring results in weak plants. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plant or animal wastes. Farmers dump plant and animal waste in pits at open places and allow it to decompose. The decomposition is caused by some microorganisms. The decomposed matter is used as organic manure. So students, आप सबको पता है कि जो फार्मर्स होते हैं वो क्या करते हैं, एनिमल वेस्ट को और कुछ ऐसा जो एक्स्ट्रा वेस्ट होता है उसको कहाँ करते हैं, एक पिट में जो है इकट्ठा करते हैं. कुछ टाइम के बाद वो डिकम्पोज हो जाता है एंड दैट इज ऑर्गेनिक मैन्योर. Fertilizers are chemicals which are rich in a particular nutrient. How are they different from manure? Fertilizers are produced in factories. Some examples of fertilizers are urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, potash, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. The use of fertilizers has helped the farmers to get better yield of crops such as wheat, paddy, and maize. But excessive use of fertilizers had made the soil less fertile. Fertilizers have also become a source of water pollution. Therefore, in order to maintain the fertility of the soil, we have to substitute fertilizers with organic manure or leave the field uncultivated fallow in between two crops. The use of manure improves soil texture as well as its water retaining capacity. It replenishes the soil with nutrients. Another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients is through crop rotation. This can be done by growing different crops alternately. Earlier, farmers in northern India used to grow legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. This helped in the replenishment of the soil with nitrogen. Farmers are being encouraged to adopt this practice. Rhizobium bacteria are present in the nodules of roots of leguminous plants. They fix atmospheric nitrogen. सो स्टूडेंट्स क्या है कि अगर आप जो है सपोज करो कि आप बहुत ज्यादा फर्टिलाइजर्स ऐड करते हैं, आप सबको पता है कि फर्टिलाइजर्स वाटर पोल्यूशन भी क्रिएट करते हैं और एक्सेसिव अगर हम ऐड करते हैं तो उससे हमारी जो सॉइल है वो भी लेस फर्टाइल हो जाती है। तो इसके लिए हम क्या करते हैं, एक तो हम एक सर्कल में क्रॉप्स को ग्रो करते हैं, लाइक पहले वीट देन फिर पैडी देन शुगर केन। तो हम एक ही फील्ड में डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टाइप की क्रॉप्स को ग्रो कराते हैं और कुछ हम ऐसी क्रॉप्स को भी ग्रो कराते हैं जो सॉइल की फर्टिलिटी को इंक्रीज करने में हेल्प करती है। नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, वी हैव चेक एंड मेड, यू कैन डू इट बाय योरसेल्फ एज वी ऑलरेडी रीड अबाउट दीज थिंग्स। Here we have selection of showing off and fertilizers irrigation. So student, this is our new topic. Now we have all living beings need water to live. Water is important for proper growth and development. Water is absorbed by the plant roots. Along with water, minerals and fertilizers are also absorbed. Plants contain nearby 90% water. Water is essential because germination of seeds does not take place under dry conditions. Nutrients dissolved in water are transported to each part of the plant. Water also protects the crop from both frost and hot air currents. To maintain the moisture of the soil for healthy crop growth, fields have to be watered regularly. The supply of water to crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, soil to soil, and season to season. In summer, the frequency of watering is higher. Why is it so? Could it be due to the increased rate of evaporation of water from the soil and the leaves? So students, अगर हम बात करें, अब आप सबको पता है कि वाटर जो है हर किसी की बेसिक नीड है, हमारे प्लांट्स की भी बेसिक नीड है। तो हम क्या करते, जब हम अपने प्लांट्स को या अपनी क्रॉप को एक प्रॉपर टाइमिंग के बाद, एक इंटरवल के बाद जो है हम वाटरिंग करते हैं, दैट इज इरिगेशन। उसको हम इरिगेशन बोलते हैं। और इस इरिगेशन की नीड हमें जो है गर्मियों में ज्यादा होती है क्योंकि रेट ऑफ इवेपोरेशन ऑफ वाटर ड्यू टू द हीट इंक्रीज हो जाता है। गेट इट स्टूडेंट्स? नाउ वी हैव सोर्सेज ऑफ इरिगेशन। द सोर्सेज ऑफ वाटर फॉर इरिगेशन आर वेल्स, ट्यूब वेल्स, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams and canals. Traditional methods of irrigation. The water available in wells, lakes and canals is lifted up by different methods in different regions for taking it to the fields. Cattle or human labor is used in these methods, so these methods are cheaper but less efficient. The various traditional ways are moat, pulley system, chain pump, dhekli, rehat, lever system. Pumps are commonly used for lifting water. Diesel, biogas, electricity and solar energy is used to run these pumps. तो स्टूडेंट, अगर हम बात करें तो बहुत मॉडर्न हो गया, हम इलेक्ट्रिक पंप्स का यूज करते हैं, सोलर एनर्जी का यूज करते हैं। सो अब हम इन चीजों का यूज करते हैं, लेकिन पहले हम ज्यादातर ह्यूमन लेबर और एनिमल्स का यूज करते थे। लुक एट दिस पिक्चर, वी हैव मोट, देन चेन पंप, देन ढेकली, देन रेहेड। नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, वी हैव modern methods of irrigation. Modern methods of irrigation help us to use water economically. The main methods used are as follows. So students, अब हम water को economically use करते हैं क्योंकि हम सबको पता है कि water का conservation भी जरूरी है। The first we have sprinkler system. The system is more useful on the uneven land where sufficient water is not available. The perpendicular pipes having rotating nozzles on the top are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure with the help of a pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. A sprinkle is very useful for lawns, coffee plantation and several other crops. So students, अगर हम स्प्रिंकलर सिस्टम की बात करें तो क्या होता है, ऐसे बारिश होती है उस टाइप से हम अपनी फसल को जो है पानी देते हैं। जैसे कॉफी प्लांटेशन में बहुत यूजफुल है, लॉन्स के लिए यूजफुल है और भी बहुत सारी क्रॉप्स हैं जिसमें हम ये सिस्टम यूज कर सकते हैं। Here we have a sprinkler system. Now come to the next, drip system. Drip irrigation is also known as trickle irrigation. In this method of irrigation, water drips slowly to the roots of the plants through a network of pipes and tubing. There is no wastage of water and no danger of fertilizer runoff in this method. In areas where there is scarcity of water, drip irrigation proves helpful. So student, drip irrigation कहाँ यूज किया जाता है? जहां पर पानी की बहुत ज्यादा कमी है और ये फर्टिलाइजर्स के भी खराब होने का खतरा कम करता है. Look at this picture. This is drip system. Now students, we have harvesting. Harvesting of a crop is an important task. The cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. So student, आप सबको पता है हार्वेस्टिंग क्या होता है? जब हमारी क्रॉप मैच्योर हो जाती है, जब हम उसको कट करते हैं, दैट इज हार्वेस्टिंग. In harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground. It usually takes 3 to 4 months for a cereal crop to mature. Harvesting in our country is either done manually by sickle or by a machine called harvester. In the harvested crop, the green seeds need to be separated. Look here student, it is sickle and it is harvesting. Now we have protection from weeds. The unwanted plants that grow naturally along with crop plants are called weeds. The removal of weeds from the field without harming the crop plants is called weeding. So student, ऐसे कुछ unwanted plants हैं हमारी crop के साथ जो grow कर जाते हैं, that is weed. और जब हम उनको क्या करते हैं, अपनी crop को बिना किसी नुकसान के उन्हें अलग करते हैं, that is weeding. Now we have necessity of weeding. Weeding is necessary because weeds compete with the crop plants for nutrients, water, sunlight and space and affect their growth badly. Weeds may produce toxic substances that interfere with the growth of crop plants and thus affect the harvest. Weeds may be poisonous to humans and domestic animals. Weeds attract pests and spread them to the crop plant. Now, methods of weeding. Following methods are adopted for removing weeds from a crop field. First, mechanical methods. Weeding from the soil before sowing seeds is done by using a dig comb-like implement called harrow or rake. Here, from standing a crop, weeds are removed manually by pulling them out by hand or by using khurpi or hoe. Then we have chemical method. Weeding from the soil before sowing seeds is done by using big comb-like implement called harrow. The chemical substance called weedicides are used to kill weeds. The weedicides kill the weeds but do not harm the crop plants. The common weedicides are 2,4-dichlorophenoxy acetic acid, then MCPA 2-methyl-1,4-chloro-1-phenoxy acetic acid. Then here biological method. In biological control, some natural enemies of weeds like some insects are released in the field which feeds on weeds and destroy them. For example, Coinical insects in Tamil Nadu is used to estimate prickle, pear of tuna from the crop plants. So students, ये कुछ methods थे. अब हम protection of weeds हम पढ़ चुके हैं. अगर हम बात करते हैं students weeds की remove करने की जरूरत क्यों है? क्योंकि वो हमारी crop plants को affect करता है, उनकी growth को affect करता है. अब उसे remove करने के अलग अलग तरीके हैं. या तो mechanical method से हम करेंगे. अगर हम mechanical method की बात करें तो हम कुछ instruments होते हैं जिनकी help से उनको remove करते हैं. फिर हम केमिकल मेथड्स की बात करेंगे तो केमिकल मेथड्स में हमारे कुछ वीडिसाइड्स होते हैं जो क्रॉप प्लांट्स को अफेक्ट नहीं करते लेकिन वीड्स को जो है वो खत्म कर देते हैं, हम उनका यूज करते हैं. देन कम टू द बायोलॉजिकल मेथड. बायोलॉजिकल मेथड में क्या होता है, ऐसे कुछ इंसेक्ट्स को फील्ड में छोड़ दिया जाता है जो वीड्स पे फीड करते हैं, क्रॉप पे नहीं, और ऐसे ही कुछ मेथड्स तमिलनाडु में यूज किए जाते हैं. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ क्रॉप फ्रॉम पेस्ट्स एंड डिजीज. The crop in the fields are to be protected from stray animals, birds, insects, and disease-causing microbes. Here we have protection from stray animals. Crop can be protected from stray animals like crows and buffaloes by raising wire fence all around the field. So student, animals के लिए हम अपनी खेत की वो है fencing कर सकते हैं, so वो अंदर नहीं जाएंगे. Now protection of crop from pests. Pests are the organisms that damage crop plants and lower the crop production. The common pests are insects like grasshopper, aphid, termite, moth, and rodents like rat. Now we have methods of pest control. Pest control can be achieved by chemical control or by biological control. For chemical control of pests, chemicals like malathion, parathion, andrine, copper oxychloride, BHC, benzene, hexachloride, zinc phosphide, etc. are used. These chemicals are called pesticides. They kill the pests, their eggs, larvae, and do not harm the plants. Pesticides used to kill the insects are called insecticides, and fungicides are those that destroy the fungi. Small farmers spray insecticides by hand-operated spraying machine. Look at this. Combine. Farmers with small holdings of land do the separation of grain and chaff by winnowing. Here, winnowing by machine. Thank you, students. We will meet again in the next chapter. Till then, revise what we learned today.